Now at 5 this morning.
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Monday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And the holidays may be over, but the snow definitely is not, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at just another day of some snowfall, Gary. Tell me if I've said that before. It's been quite busy.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the radar right now because, again, early this morning, it's not really that snowy. In fact, for a lot of us, it's relatively quiet, not a flurry in the sky. But as we head throughout the morning today, we're going to start to see that light snow beginning to develop, eventually forming over to widespread light snow this afternoon. Here's a snapshot of the radar right now. And you can see here out near Buffalo, the snow is starting to fall. Bit of a dry slide here, by the way, but of course out near Erie, Pennsylvania is where that snow is starting to come down pretty good, but it's expected to weaken as it heads eastward. So again, downtown Utica, a live view outside. Big shout out to the crews outside yesterday and especially last night. Keep in mind, a lot of road crews out there working several days in a row because just this daily snowfall doesn't really seem to end. Syracuse and Rochester in the teens and 20s with some light snow showers. Otherwise, again, pretty quiet over here in the Mohawk Valley. As we head throughout the late morning, early afternoons, you can see here that snow begins to develop. Then more on the lighter side as we head into the afternoon. And then tonight, lingering light snow showers. And it quiets down tomorrow early, but we're tracking the potential for a wintry mix, even the potential for some freezing rain by tomorrow night. We'll have the details on that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A fire on Elm Street in
Welcome back to Sunrise. Happy Monday morning, everybody. Today we're tracking yet again more snowfall. Pinch yourself if you haven't heard that before. But either way, today's snow, not that impactful, at least compared to even yesterday, some of that lake effect snow we saw. Either way, here's your forecast in a minute as you head outside this morning. Temperature 15 degrees, frigid out there with that wind chill on the calm side, believe it or not. So this cold morning is pretty much all temperature and no wind. A look at some roadways this morning. A lot of clear spots. Should have really no issues traveling, aside from some side roads this morning, and maybe your driveway or parking lot might have to drive through some of that snow there. But again, either way, you head into the main roads, you should have no issues driving. Live radar showing that light snow beginning to move in this morning. And of course, as you can see here, roadways still looking mainly green. When it comes to travel, quiet with a few flurries this morning as we head into this afternoon. Light snow, again, impacts pretty much low. There could be some side roads a bit snow covered. We're going to fast forward to Tuesday night. So tomorrow night, there's potential for a wintry mix and freezing rain. We'll dive into that. Plus, again, the snowfall forecast for today coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It was a big day for snowmobile enthusiasts in
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you all had a great weekend. Today, yet again, we're tracking some more snowfall. And we begin with a look at the Yorkville Battery live radar, where that snow is starting to approach from the western skies. It's currently falling in western New York and just over Lake Erie. And we're going to see this pattern continue for much of the day today as this weak Clipper system moves its way eastward. In terms of roadways this morning, as you head outside, generally quiet. Side roads, less traveled roads will be slightly snow covered. And I'm thinking by the end of this system this evening and tonight, we're looking at the potential for a few slick spots on, again, those less traveled roads. So just plan accordingly today and budget some extra time getting to where you need to go. So the bigger picture shows, again, as I mentioned, this weak Clipper shifting its way over the area. It's had a northward trend over the last 24 hours, so this will largely impact areas north of the New York State Thruway. Now, by tomorrow, we're seeing another clipper beginning to arrive. This one, though, is going to tap into some more milder temperatures. Now, milder being above freezing, allowing rainfall and the potential for a wintry mix and freezing rain to take place in the foothills of the Adirondacks, and that could produce some tricky travel scenarios as well. So we zoom in here on our Skycast. There's that snowfall that moves in this afternoon. Again, generally speaking, light but consistent snow north of the Thruway, and then light and scattered snow south of it. Then tonight, it's relatively quiet. Early tomorrow, same story. Tomorrow evening, 5 p.m., a snapshot here. We have widespread rain. We have some mixing taking place in the foothills of the Adirondacks. Now, this, I believe, is trending a bit more on the rainier side. Personally, I think there could be a lot more in terms of ice starting to form, especially in the hills, mainly north of Little Falls. Then we're going to see that strong south wind battle those cold temperatures currently in our area. So one of those scenarios where it's a battle zone of temperatures, and of course more difficulty added to our forecasting. Then we're going to see some lingering flurries as we head into Wednesday. In terms of snowfall today, 2 to 4 inches north of the Thruway, Trace to 2 south. And you can see here some of the raw data that we have coming in right now mainly points to that scenario, with a few spots picking up a little bit more, mainly around Tug Hill and some of those areas in the northern portion of Oneida County. Now, when it comes to ice potential, this is that model output for tomorrow. And again, I am thinking that this might be more on the icier side with the latest trends coming in the next 12 to 18 hours. Your 7-day forecast, warming up still. Looking at the temperature trend toward the end of the week, Friday, 43 with widespread rain. 45 Saturday, then cooling back down again on Sunday. So we're going to have a much-needed thaw here, cutting down some of the snowfall totals, and a bit of a break for some of that snow in the next few days.
Yeah, it's been nice, though.
It's been nice. It's been snowy, though, too, for a pretty consistent time frame.
Skiers deserve it after the last few years.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Eric, thanks. Police in Ohio for this half hour. For those who love all of the snow that we are seeing, more is on the way. And Eric, when are we talking?
Well, we're talking later this morning, early part of this afternoon, and not a whole lot, Gary, but enough to maybe coat the area with a couple of inches, if that. Let's take a look at the radar right now, because again, to our west is where things are starting to snow. In fact, even a few light flurries as far to the east as Hamilton and Madison County. We zoom out a little bit, and there's that snowfall working its way in. So again, the mid to late morning, a few light flurries, eventually light snow this afternoon, progressing into the early part of this evening before quieting down. Still, though, heading outside early today, roadways generally clear and so far looking pretty dry. Temperatures this morning hovering in the teens, as high as the low 20s, as once that front begins to move in, ushering in, of course, that snowfall. You can see those highs today climbing into the mid-20s. So the snowfall today will be less fluffy, a bit more of a typical type snow. Not wet, not fluffy, kind of that middle ground there. But either way, we're going to see the arrival of that snowfall throughout the first half of the day today, and then making way for some rain and potential for a wintry mix tomorrow evening. We'll dive into that forecast coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
Happy Monday morning, everybody. Our photo of the day today, if you're wondering, well, morning rush hour, obviously something that you don't want to get stuck in, especially in some larger cities. Here locally, I mean, we do have some traffic. Thankfully, though, it's nowhere near as bad as some bigger cities. But I would say probably on par with it is how about this morning rush hour from Salisbury of quite a few deer. This was sent in by Susan, and deer are a pretty frequent sight recently. I know on my drive into work today, I followed a doe and 2 fawns. Now, the snowbanks are so high they couldn't find a way off the road, so I kind of slowly followed them, and eventually they found a way to get off the road there. And still, just a reminder to watch out for deer this time of year, especially a lot of those doe that have little ones out and about. If you have a photo like that you'd like to send to us, send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics. Your photo of the day every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. So today's temperatures starting out on the cooler side. Inlets at 0 degrees. Our Skywatcher Eric up there reporting 3 below zero. So depending on where you are up there. Either way, it's a cooler start, a seasonable afternoon, but we are tracking light snow today and a warm-up on the way later this week. Have all the details on that in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It was the end of an era.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Happy Monday morning, everybody. This weekend, nothing short of snowy. I hope you guys are able to enjoy some winter activities outside because we're going to be looking at a bit of a thaw later this week. In the meantime, though, no thaw today. In fact, in case you were wondering, is it going to snow again? Yes, it is. It's continuing this snowy stretch of weather through today. A look at the radar right now. Light snow starting to push into central New York, a bit heavier out near the Rochester area there. In fact, right in between Rochester and Syracuse. We zoom in on the traffic tracker right now. A few minor slowdowns, some yellow zones here, but generally pretty clear. A big shout out to all the crews who are still working, barely any days off, if you even got any, making sure the roads are plowed. To make sure you thank one of the crews if you see them out and about. So today we're tracking light snow from this Clipper system. This exits, and we're going to see the arrival of widespread rain tomorrow, but it's not just rain. We're hovering in the low to mid 30s, so anytime we see these types of setups, personally, I think the data always overdoes it when it comes to the warm sector. So I do think this is a better opportunity for some freezing rain and at least a wintry mix in parts of central New York, mainly in the foothills of the Adirondacks north and east of Utica. So let's recap again. Today, here's that light snow begins to move into the area with temperatures in the teens and 20s, more of a characteristic type snowfall today. Then it quiets down early Tuesday, really no travel impacts in the early morning, in fact for the early afternoon. As we head into the evening, here's a snapshot at 5 p.m. There's that light rainfall, in fact I would say more on the heavier side of rainfall moving in right around that hour, and some mixing taking place as you can see right here. But I do think this cold pocket will be a bit more widespread heading into some of those lower elevations as we head into the evening and overnight. Regardless, there's a battle taking place. Strong south winds ushering in some warmer temperatures with the cold air in place. One of the very tricky forecasts that you have to deal with in this area, that being ice. So when it comes to snowfall today, you can see here north of the New York State Thruway, 2 to 4 inches, trace to 2 as you head farther south. And just looking at the raw data here to give you an idea of what we're looking at in terms of behind the scenes. Generally speaking, same story here. Some isolated spots could get above 4 inches, but again, the key there is isolated. Then, of course, following that, we are tracking the potential for some freezing rain in some higher elevations tomorrow evening through tomorrow night. Just stay tuned for updates on that. It is trending more on the icy side with the latest data, and at least compared to the previous freezing rain event, it was a bit underdone by the models, so we're going to keep a close eye on that one. Either way, we do have a thaw on the way later this week, so some rainfall maybe some temperatures in the 40s. That's a heat wave, Gary.
And look at all that sun on Thursday. Wow.
Yeah, might have some opportunity. Yeah, a little sliver.
A peak.
Yep.
Eric, thanks. The time right now is 5:54. Still ahead, one last.
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Monday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
I don't know about you, but these holidays seem like they dragged on. I mean, it's great to have it, but
for sure.
because it was on a Thursday each week, it seemed like they were much longer, which was kind of nice.
And on top of that, too, we got some snowy conditions for pretty much the entire holidays. Remember last year we had some snow. It melted after Christmas, and we thought it was the end of it.
Yeah.
And the New Year's came, and boom, we got some more snowfall. But yes, we were tracking some more snow today, so the holidays are over, as we mentioned previously, but still, the snow is not over just yet. Here's a look at where things are standing right now. Light snow in parts of central New York out near Syracuse. Heading into the Mohawk Valley, still looking relatively dry, but we are tracking the arrival of more of this widespread snowfall throughout the morning today. A little bit heavier, at least with that initial round of snow, closer to the late morning, eventually early afternoon, some still pretty decent light snowfall. But either way, it's going to be widespread. Pretty much all of us see snow today, just depending on where you are on if you see the most. Downtown Utica, early this morning, roadways very clear. Side roads, or at least your parking lots or driveways, might have some snow on them too, so maybe budget a little extra time to factor that in. There's a huge contrast in temperatures right now. It's 21 in Binghamton, minus 11 up in Saranac Lake. So that cold pocket of air mainly in the north, a bit warmer as you head out to western New York. And today, after temperatures start in the teens, that light flurry turns to widespread snow in the late morning and early afternoon, with high temperatures in the mid-20s. Now, we'll have a look at how much snow we can see today, plus the arrival of a wintry mix, maybe even some freezing rain tomorrow. We'll dive into those chances and impacts coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A structure fire broke out.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back. Time now is 6:11. Happy Monday. And if you're wondering, well, how is the weather looking like for the day today? I mean, it's been so snowy the past few. We'll have a quick look at it in your forecast in a minute as you head outside to work today. Let's start out with a look at the current temperature at 16 degrees, cloudy skies, a very light wind right now of 3 miles an hour, so that wind chill, yes, it's frigid, but it's mainly temperature-based, not really so much in terms of wind. Either way, it feels like 16 out this morning. Roadways generally clear. Obviously, some side roads, less traveled roads have a light layer of snow on them. For the most part, they are plowed. And as we head throughout the day today, there's potential for some of those side roads to become a bit snow covered. Main roads, I think the snowfall rate will be light enough to where there really should not be any major impacts there. But either way, as with any typical widespread snow event like this, expect a pretty consistent trend of snowfall today and the snow to accumulate in a lot of spots. So when it comes to the roadways this morning, it is relatively quiet. However, again, later on in the day today, there could be some minor impacts to travel, both in the afternoon and evening, with that light snow. We fast forward to tomorrow night with the potential for rain, even some freezing rain to mix in. We'll, of course, dive into that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A big day for snowmobile.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. After a snowy weekend, yet again, we're tracking more widespread snowfall. Let's take a look at the Yorkville Battery live radar here, because this type of system here is not that nuisance lake effect snow that notoriously is difficult to predict. This is more of a typical clipper system, which is arriving from the west, producing a pretty steady supply of light snow for much of the morning, or at least I should say more closer to late morning, early afternoon today, with some quieter weather as we head into the late half of tonight. But it is snowing pretty good out in western New York. Roadways right now generally quiet. The bigger picture shows that light snow moving its way through the area throughout the early afternoon, and then consistently remaining north of the New York State Thruway this evening before quieting down, as I mentioned, tonight. Then as we head into tomorrow, mainly tomorrow night, notice here we have a pretty complicated setup. We have warm air mixing in, producing the potential for cold rain and snowfall well to our north. So, you know, the type of system with this will produce the potential for some freezing rain or some sleet. And I do think with the trends, at least, that we've had this year, I think there's a higher chance of a freezing rain potential from the system than what the models are showing us, just based off of the cold air that gets a bit more difficult to get pushed out of, especially due to cold air damming in the Mohawk Valley. So this morning, again, it is relatively quiet to start. Light snow develops, remains pretty consistent through the early afternoon, a bit more steady, especially north in the North Country. And then tonight, it's quiet until early tomorrow. And then by tomorrow night, we're going to see the arrival of that widespread rain. You can see here mixing taking place in the foothills, the Adirondacks. But still, you see the temperature at 34 degrees in Little Falls, and the data here is showing all rain. Just personally, I don't really think that's going to be the scenario here. I think this cold air is going to push its way farther south, a lot more in terms of freezing rain potential in sections of Herkimer County and Fulton County. Just stay tuned for updates tonight through early tomorrow. But generally speaking, I think this is the trend it's really heading. But of course, we'll dive into that here following today. Of course, today's weather a bit more important this morning as we head out. We got 2 to 4 inches in areas to the north of the Thruway, trace to 2 in areas south. When it comes to the raw data, as you can see here, pretty consistent. The only outliers here are some higher spots of 4+ inches in those dark blue zones there. So if you're wondering where the highest totals are expected by tomorrow afternoon, well, that's the case there. Your 7-day forecast, we have that wintry mix developing Tuesday through early Wednesday morning. It dries up on Thursday, high of 38, and then Friday, 43, and rain. No snow, Gary, just rain. So that's pretty interesting after how cold and snowy it's been. But either way, pretty active pattern, but a warming pattern toward the end of the week.
Yeah, that might melt a lot of that snow we've been seeing.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. Well, police in Ohio are now asking for everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. For those who love all of the snow that we are seeing, could we see even more later today? Eric is over in the Weather Center, and Eric, you're talking about a little bit at least, right?
Yeah, we have some consistent, steady snow today. Nothing major, nothing blockbuster, typical winter event. Nonetheless, still you could see some decent accumulation, especially north of the Thruway. Let's take a look at where the radar is showing that snowfall right now, and for the most part, it's to our west. However, over the next few hours, we're going to see a few flurries begin, eventually switching over to some steady, light snow. So the general idea today is it starts out with some light snow in the morning. I should say flurries turning to light snow in the morning and afternoon. And then that snow will persist north of the Thruway as we head into the evening. Generally speaking, 2 to 4 inches in this zone right here, traced to 2 south of the Thruway. So as I mentioned, it's nothing major, but still this could produce some minor accumulations and some snow-covered side roads today. A live look at downtown Utica. Generally, roads are pretty clear. Should have no major impacts heading outside today, and temperatures starting out in the teens, well below zero is happening in the Adirondacks. It's -1 in Glens Falls, -11 in Saranac Lake, and our Skywatcher, Eric Inlet, reporting -3 up in the Old Forge Inlet area. So again, today we're going to see those temperatures climb into the mid-20s with a few snow showers moving their way in. We're going to dive into that forecast when it comes to the snowfall today and the potential for a wintry mix tomorrow, including the potential for freezing rain. So a lot to get through. We'll have all the latest straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is scheduled.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Happy Monday morning, everybody. Today's photo of the day has some context here. So, of course, something you guys aren't really a fan of. We don't really get a whole lot around here. Yes, we have some traffic, but not as bad as some bigger cities. It's morning rush hour. Now, I would say that you don't want to have this rush hour on the roads, but I do think this is quite an adorable photo sent in to us by Susan at Salisbury Center of this morning rush hour of numerous deer in this photo here. And a reminder just to make sure you're looking very closely on some of these roads, especially in the morning hours and the evening hours when the deer are most active, for the potential of seeing some of these. And again, deer pretty high in population so far this time of year. And on top of that, I will say this, the snow definitely helping with the visibility. So if you have a photo like this you'd like to send to us, send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics. Your photo that is brought to you every day by GPO Federal Credit Union. So today it's a cold start. Temperatures are in the teens, single digits or below zero up north. As we head throughout the morning, we are tracking that widespread snow. We have the details on the amount we're going to be seeing, as well as how this week is trending with a possible warm-up with a way wintry mix tomorrow, too. All the details straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. It was the end of an era in
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today we're tracking yet again more snowfall. Today we'll begin with a look at the Yorkville Battery Live radar, where that snowfall is slowly approaching from the west. Initially this morning, a few light flurries turning to light, steady snow in the late morning to early afternoon before much of the snowfall persists north of the New York State Thruway as we head into the evening hours. So roadways this morning generally pretty clear. Again, no additional snowfall the last few hours, allowing roads to get pretty clear, treated, of course. Some side roads might be a little snow covered, but again, you should have no major impacts heading out to work today. So there's that snow. It's moving its way east through central New York. You can see here some lingering snow in the North Country through the overnight hours. Eventually, we're going to see widespread rainfall move in tomorrow. But you notice here, it's not just rain. We have snow and we have some freezing rain and sleet along this line here, mainly along the freezing rain side of things. And personally, I think the data we have here might be a bit too much on the warmer side, which means I think this could be a little bit more impactful in terms of an ice system. But we're going to see how this system trends over the next 12 or so hours. We'll provide updates on that. But of course, we'll show what's going on today, which is some light snow that moves in for much of the late morning through the daytime hours today. A snapshot at 5:30 this evening. That light snow continues north of the Thruway, exiting overnight. By early tomorrow, it is quiet, temperatures in the 30s. Now, cloudy skies persist. This is where the variability lies, because if the highs for the day sit at 33 degrees by noontime, it's going to be difficult for that to remain as rain in the Mohawk Valley due to some cold air damming here. If it does persist when that rainfall moves in, there could be some more mixing taking place, and I do think the freezing rain potential could extend farther into Herkimer County and Fulton County than what the data is showing us. So I'm leaning more on the cautious side here when it comes to that forecast. Again, forecasting ice, extremely difficult, but I'll just tell you how I think it is, which is I think it might be more on the icy side. Lingering rain showers and freezing rain overnight, exiting by early Wednesday. In terms of snowfall today, as you can see here, trace to 2 south of the Thruway, 2 to 4 inches north. Just overall, some light accumulation today. Nothing major, but just a reminder that that could still cause some snow-covered surfaces, so budget your traveling accordingly. The raw data here, same story. Just you can see here, a few spots and some higher elevations could pick up a little bit higher than 4 inches, especially in the hills north of Rome, heading up toward Tug Hill. So your 7-day forecast, we have some warmer temperatures following this wintry mix Tuesday and Wednesday, high of 43 with widespread rain Friday, switching over to some cooler temperatures by Sunday. We'll be right back.
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And after quite a run of a lot of snow today, maybe not as much, but still some, right?
Yeah, not enough, but at least not a whole lot, but I should say enough to make the roads somewhat snow-covered. It's that type of scenario here in early January. Let's take a look outside. Yorkville Battery Live Radar showing, again, pretty, I would say, light to moderate snowfall out there. It's not coming down heavy, but in some spots it is, especially some of those dark blue areas heading down toward Hamilton and Madison County, in Norwich, and then heading toward Morris and Oneonta and Otsego County. We can zoom out a little bit here. We can see this band of snow pushing its way eastward. This is a warm front moving in, a very weak one so far. In fact, looking at the roadways right now, we can see here the roads improving a little bit out near Syracuse, but you see near Canastota, the snow starting to cover some of the roads there, and especially in Westmoreland too, enough to produce some tracks here and there. So again, when it comes to snowy conditions outside right now, just budget a little bit extra time. It's not terrible out, but it's one of those days where driving a bit longer in that in this afternoon is probably better than not getting there at all. Live look at Oneonta. Beautiful wintry scene down in the City of the Hills right now, and again heading into Utica. Snow is starting to coat some of the roads, as we've mentioned, so just budget a little bit extra time if you're heading anywhere outside so far today. Now, around the state, temperatures are ranging in the 20s, still hovering in the teens up in Saranac Lake, and there's some cold pockets out north of Albany, and especially in the foothills of the Adirondacks and out toward the Mohawk Valley itself. So far, snowfall rates right now, a bit heavy in the Syracuse area. Same thing, maybe a little bit out near Watertown, but again, light to moderate so far in the Utica area. But as we head throughout the day today, we're going to see this snowfall continue. The heaviest of the snow is going to take place in early afternoon. Then as we head into tonight, it's going to start winding down with the exception of the North Country. We'll, of course, dive into that forecast and have more details on when this begins to end coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A Utica man who lit an Oneida Square.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Plan accordingly if you are traveling anywhere this afternoon, as a good snowfall rate is taking place right now, allowing some roads to get snow covered. Here's a live view of Oriskany Street, Oriskany Boulevard, depending on which direction you're looking here in downtown Utica, where you can see here the roads starting to get a bit snow covered at this hour. So again, nothing major, but still just, especially some of those side roads or back roads, plan accordingly, as you might have to budget some extra time to get where you need to go. A live look at the radar. We have some heavier snow working its way in from the west. This will not last long, but it's enough to, again, coat a lot of surfaces. We zoom in here, some heavier snowfall rates taking place in Syracuse right now, and then of course heading eastbound. Another place to mention too, of course, parts of the southern valleys, Otsego County, Morris, heading north of Norwich toward Sherburne, and farther south toward Otsego and Oneonta also seeing some of that heavier snowfall. And due to that fact, you see some more yellows and oranges here, and that indicates some slowdowns. Again, no major ones, at least here locally for the time being, but outside Syracuse, you really see how that snow is impacting commute times. So the bigger picture shows this system moving its way eastward. As we head throughout the afternoon, much of this snow in the Mohawk Valley and south is going to taper off a little bit, but it will still remain persistent in some locations north of the New York State Thruway. Then tomorrow, our attention points to a system that could bring icy conditions to parts of central New York. Let's dive into it right here. So again, there's that snowfall this afternoon, this evening, and tonight. Lingering snow north, picking up a couple more inches north of the Thruway and the foothills of the Adirondacks. Then tomorrow morning, it's really looking quiet. I wouldn't even say any flurries or snow showers report. We have a south wind at play here. But then we're going to see that widespread rain work its way in, cold air damming potentially taking place in the Mohawk Valley. That might allow some icy, freezing rain conditions to move in, similar to what we saw not too long ago. I wouldn't say maybe on the scale of the ice storm we saw still again, but it is going to be impactful. And we're going to keep a close eye on it, especially as we head into tomorrow once we get a lot more consistent data coming in. But either way, Wednesday, we're going to be dealing with some lingering lake effect snow showers. Still, the models here pointing out a whole lot, but you know how the models have been this year. Overachieving snow events have been the common trend. Still today, generally speaking, this is an easily predictable snow event here. We're looking at trace 2 inches from most areas south of the Thruway, 2 to 4 inches to the north. And as we head into, again, tomorrow, the main culprit areas I want to point out here are going to be the foothills of the Adirondacks and the Mohawk Valley. So again, stay tuned for updates as we head into tomorrow when it comes to that ice event here. But either way, following Tuesday, we've got some lingering snow showers and flurries Wednesday, drying a little bit on Thursday, and we have some rain, just rain. No funny business. No snow, no sleet, no freezing rain. Just rain Friday, and then we're going to be looking at a cool down as we head into the weekend by Sunday. So it's been quite a busy stretch, Gary, and it's been quite a snowy one too. And I know some folks are happy about it, some folks aren't. Either way, it is what it is. We got a lot of snow coming.
We're in the midst of winter. We got to
That's
expect it. Eric, thanks. Well, there are growing concerns today. He's joining us now, and quite a snowy scene all across central New York right now.
Yeah, that's right. We have another snowy day out there, Gary. Enough to coat some of the roads here. In fact, let's dive into the map here, or at least the cameras. And a reminder, on a day like today, the snowfall rate's coming down, I would say pretty decently, a typical January snowfall here. And, I mean, if you have snow tires on, if you drive carefully, my 3 words I want to say is budget extra time. If you have to go somewhere today, the roads aren't that bad. If they are bad, you drive slower. You'll get there in one piece. But just a reminder that this is the typical type of snow we see this time of year. Just it might take a little bit for the roads to improve, especially as we head into the next few hours. The heavier snow is currently taking place out near Syracuse. Behind it, though, we're going to see some quieter weather. So here's a story of what happened today. This heavy snow moving through the area for the next, say, 1 to 2 hours. Following this, a lot of the snow is going to push its way north and mainly fall north of the New York State Thruway. So those of you up in the northern sections of our viewing area, you might see the snow last a little bit longer. In the meantime, the snow is coming down at a pretty good rate in Oneonta, a live scene of a very beautiful wintry scene down there in the city. And again, in downtown Utica, you see some snow-covered roads out there today. So again, just budget a little bit extra time heading outside this afternoon. Temperatures are in the 20s, upper 20s as you head out toward western New York, and today's highs will be climbing near 30, but not quite at that point. Either way, the snow will taper off tonight. It's a quiet morning tomorrow, but we're looking at the latest numbers right now, and this could be a somewhat impactful ice event tomorrow, especially for those of you in the Mohawk Valley and in the foothills of the Adirondacks. We're going to dive into that potential ice forecast coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. To North Carolina.
Download the Storm Tracker 2 mobile app and put the power of Storm Tracker 2 in the palm of your hand. Watch the latest forecast, hour-by-hour conditions, the latest radar this winter. Be prepared. Download the Storm Tracker 2 mobile app today. The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, we're still tracking that widespread snowfall coming down at a pretty good rate here over the Mohawk Valley, or at least in the Utica area. Let's take a look right now from our radar right here, and as you can see, pretty consistent, heavier snow right along this line right here. This is a frontal boundary moving its way in, so we got some much colder air over here and some slightly warmer air to the point where some spots are climbing near but not quite above freezing out in western New York. Either way, it's a gradual process, but still is producing some decent snowfall, mainly just in eastern Syracuse, heading toward, say, Verona, Oneida, eventually Westmoreland. So if you are traveling or expected to travel on the thruway over the next few minutes, if you're watching right now, I would say the snowfall coming down at a good rate might cause some tricky travel scenarios. By the way, it's coming down pretty good in sections of Otsego County near Milford right now, potentially some traffic issues or travel issues in that zone for the time being. And speaking of, our traffic tracker showing a lot more in terms of slowdowns here locally. Obviously, head along Route 5 here in the hills, you're going to have some difficulty there. There are some crews, of course, along I-90 right now, but still, when the snowfall is coming down at a good enough rate, regardless, you're going to have snow-covered roads. So my main thing is just travel accordingly, budget extra time if you need to. Get there in one piece. That's really all I need to do today, because that snowfall is going to end rather quickly, at least in locations south of the Thruway. Those of you north of the Thruway, I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute, where we could be seeing some additional snowfall up there north. So following today, our next system we're tracking here is this ice potential from this system here tomorrow evening. And this could impact travel, obviously, with icy conditions. But let's dive into it right here. So today, there's that widespread snow moving its way through the area. This evening, we could be seeing additional snowfall passing through south of Route 20 or I-90, but much of this snow is going to linger mainly north of the Thruway. That's why our snowfall map, which I'll show in a second, has some higher totals up there. It quiets down. I'm not tracking any real notable flurries or lake effect or anything tomorrow. I know we've had some overperforming systems the past few days. This, though, tomorrow morning through the early afternoon will be quiet. Then we're going to see widespread rain move in. But the issue here is models have been not so reliable in terms of forecasting cold air damming, or even for that matter, just cold air in general when these systems move its way in. So we are going to be leaning more away from what the computer data tells us and shows us more as to what's going to be happening tomorrow, which will be a stronger ice potential, mainly in the Mohawk Valley, and especially as you head up north in the foothills, the Adirondacks. So first off, snowfall today, no major changes. Generally trace to 2 inches or 2 to 4 inches up north. That variability could move slightly. But either way, expect maybe a maximum of 4 to 5 inches, some of the hills south of Boonville heading toward Tug Hill. Now, when it comes to ice potential tomorrow, again, this is our concern. When you have these winds move in that produce, at least from a warm front, cold air damming takes place with those colder temperatures in the valleys struggle to climb with that stronger south wind. So in the process, you got that very narrow warm layer in the atmosphere, and then it refreezes again on contact. The potential for freezing rain in some of that darker pink area right here. So stay tuned for updates this evening. Personally, I think we might go more on the icy side with this system, which again could cause some impact. So not entirely sure if we'll make an alert day just yet, but we're going to keep a close eye on how things are trending this evening. So again, some minor impacts today for travel, and we're closely watching that ice potential tomorrow as well.
Yeah, a lot of people may have to travel tomorrow. Looking forward to that.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. A big day for snowmobile enthusiasts.
That's with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Kind of a gross day out there today. New year, more problems.
Yeah.
At least weather-wise, we're tracking some snow. This does come to an end this evening, but I'm watching the next system coming in. This could become problematic tomorrow evening east of Utica. There could be some icing, some freezing rain. Because of that, we made it an alert day. Again, this is localized to areas east of Utica in the evening time. But again, freezing rain is not something we mess around with around here. Again, looking at that potential for tomorrow evening. The snow comes to an end this evening, and it is a good time to get out if you have been stuck at home today, or if you do need to run some errands and you've been putting that off because of the snow. We do have a break in the action here that will last for the rest of this evening and tonight. Current temperature is 21 degrees. It is cold outside. We are expecting warmer temperatures ahead. In fact, we're expecting a thaw. Will be above freezing later this week. Again, this evening, those snow showers come to an end. Temperatures will stay in the low 20s. Again, tracking some warmer weather ahead. Look at the forecasts coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. What appeared to be a minor accident involving a school bus was so much more. State police say the driver went into cardiac arrest at the intersection of routes 31 and 365 in Verona. The bus went off the road and came to rest in a snowbank. A second bus driver and a bus aide were on the bus and attempted to stop it and help the driver. They called 911 and did CPR until help arrived. The 49-year-old driver was pronounced dead at Oneida Health. He was a driver for the Rome City School District. No students were on the bus.
A Utica man who tried to light an Oneida
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We are continuing to track warming temperatures here as we look ahead. And the snow coming to an end. Today we saw an inch or two of accumulation throughout the afternoon. The roads are in better shape. You can see a live look in downtown Utica that, again, the roads are generally wet, but it is a different story in other parts of our area. The snow is sticking to the roads, and again, you're going to need to take your time if you are traveling to or from a higher elevation this evening. We're expecting the snow to come to an end and road conditions to generally improve as we head throughout the rest of this evening. The snow is lifting to the north, and again, we are expecting the weather to remain dry here for the course of this evening and tonight. So if you are looking to head out, again, things are looking a lot better compared to what we saw earlier today. Now, as far as snowfall goes, we did pick up an inch of accumulation throughout the course of today, and that puts our total for Utica over 67 inches. We'll talk about that in just a second. A reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. This long snowy stretch of weather began right around Thanksgiving, and 38 out of those 40 days since then, we've seen at least some snowfall reported at Griffis and Rome. That not every day had a measurement, but we had at least some snow on each of those days besides two. And to date, we are 67.8 inches of snow for the city of Utica. We are running a departure of more than 30 inches. It's been a very snowy start to winter so far. Temperatures this evening are in the low 20s. Dolgeville 20 degrees, Little Falls 20, also 20 in West Berlin, as well as Deansboro 23 in Westernville. Today's weather system is now moving to the east. Behind it, we do get a chance to dry out. Warmer temperatures will be on the way, along with our next weather system, which arrives late tomorrow evening. We're looking at dry weather tonight. Temperatures will hold steady, if not rise, by tomorrow morning. We're expecting temperatures to be in the low 30s, and I think that's where we stay for the majority of the day. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, temperatures in the low 30s, cloudy skies. The next weather system is a warm front that moves in from the west, and this produces rain for most of central New York. The one exception is going to be east of Utica. We are watching the potential freezing rain for the Mohawk Valley tomorrow evening. It's going to be enough where it could accumulate too. Not as heavy as what we saw that Sunday between Christmas and New Year's, but again, some slippery spots tomorrow night. Temperatures will generally be above freezing to start Wednesday. Some cooler weather will work in. We'll see some snow showers Wednesday afternoon. Little accumulation is expected. And then temperatures start to warm up. We've got a thaw in the forecast as we head into the end of the week. Cloudy skies tonight, low temperature of 22. Tomorrow, we start out cloudy. Rain arrives late in the day. Again, watch out for ice in the Mohawk Valley to start. Temperatures in the low 30s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. We will be above freezing, so any icing that happens tomorrow night will melt. Looking at rain and snow showers Wednesday, 37, 38 Thursday. We're up to 43 Friday with rain as we head into the start of the weekend. But that should help take away some of the snow, or at least knock down these big snowbanks that have been piling up.
Flood concerns?
Not yet, but we are watching that. Yep.
Bill, thank you.
Thank you. We have an update on the flu, and there's good news. Let's get you back over to Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
We're talking about freezing rain in the cards tomorrow. We want to talk about how this forms, because we get this question a lot in the wintertime. How is it that it's below freezing and it's not snow? Why is it freezing rain or sleet? It has to do with the air aloft. So the air aloft is above freezing, and as the snow falls into that above freezing layer, it melts and it turns into rain. As it gets closer to the ground, temperatures are below freezing near the surface, and that way rain will freeze. If it freezes before it hits the ground, it ends up being sleet, which is frozen raindrops. If it freezes on the ground, it's freezing rain. And I think we're going to be seeing some freezing rain in parts of our area tomorrow, especially east of Utica in the evening time. It could make things a little bit slippery. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Snow is moving out. We picked up an inch or two of accumulation today. Still on the road, still a little bit slippery. But looking ahead, we have a significant thaw. A multiple-day January thaw is in store. We're above freezing just about every day for the next 5. In fact, we'll be into the 40s here as we head into the weekend. If you're taking the dog out for a walk this evening, it's still pretty chilly. Temperatures are in the 20s, but the snow does come to an end. Tonight's featured dog Cooper from Westmoreland. If you want to be part of this, head to Skycast WKTV on Facebook. This is brought to you by Nissan. Kristen, back to you.
Bill, thank you. An Oneida man was brought to the hospital with non-life-threatening.
The Storm Tracker 2 mobile app and put the power of Storm Tracker 2 in the palm of your hand. Watch the latest forecast, hour-by-hour conditions, the latest radar this winter. Be prepared. Download the Storm Tracker 2 mobile app today.
Everybody loves Raymond on MeTV.
One of these days you'll turn around and I won't be.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. If you're heading out, just be aware the roads are still slippery from the snow that fell earlier today. This is a live look in Oneonta, temperature of 27 degrees. We are warming up very slowly. This weather system today is the beginning of a push of warmer weather. By warmer, it's all relative, of course, but it's going to be warm enough to start to melt some of that snow and ice that's been accumulating over the past couple of weeks. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Again, today's snow is moving out. We picked up an inch today in the city of Utica. We have not seen very much sunshine lately. In fact, we look at the cloud cover history going back towards Christmas. It's been a rare commodity, and unfortunately, this is just how it goes. We are in the middle of the cloudiest part of the whole year, and there are many times where we don't see the sun for long stretches of time, and unfortunately, we're going to be continuing this trend here over the next few days. I don't see any substantial chances for sunshine anytime soon. The days continue to get brighter, even if we can't see the sun. It is setting later. We had the earliest sunset of the year at 4:25. Today it's 4:40, so we've gained 15 minutes of daylight at the end of the day, and this rate is going to change in a very noticeable way over the next few weeks. In fact, we're about 2.5 weeks away from the first 5 o'clock sunset of the year, and as you can see, February, March, it starts to really get noticeable. Those days get brighter in the evening and in the morning as well. Looking ahead with the weather, again, we're tracking some warmer weather. It does come with some wind. The windiest day of the week looks to be Friday. The winds won't be too strong here over the next couple of days. Skywatchers checking in some cold temperatures here. Clinton 16 degrees, Barneveld 18, Cassville 22, Norway, Donna 21 degrees, Bill and Old Forge with 18 across southern valleys. Noticing some of the warmer temperatures here compared to the north. Skanevis 28, Worcester 27. And again, some warmer weather is approaching from the south. We'll get this break in the weather for the short term. But tomorrow night, we are watching for the potential freezing rain east of Utica. We do have tomorrow evening as an alert day because of this possibility. While the ice doesn't look as heavy as what we saw that Sunday between Christmas and New Year's, it could still cause some slippery spots tomorrow evening. Snow moves out tonight. Temperatures will hold steady and if not rise overnight. We'll start out tomorrow morning in the upper 20s to low 30s. Temperatures hold right around freezing throughout the day. Next round of precipitation is mostly rain, but again, areas east of Utica could see a few slippery spots with some freezing rain. We climb above freezing tomorrow night, and rain turns back over to snow showers on Wednesday. Temperatures will be in the low 30s. Cloudy tonight, low of 22. Tomorrow, cloudy throughout the day. Rain, some icy spots develop late, 35. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. We do have a thaw as we head into the end of the week. We'll be above freezing just about every day and into the 40s as we look ahead to Friday and Saturday with rain. Temperatures do get colder as we head into next week with highs in the 30s Sunday and Monday. We'll be right back.
With Kristen Copeland and Jason Pallas.
A school bus driver in the Rome City School District is dead after having a heart attack while behind the wheel in Verona.
It happened in Verona early this afternoon. It is your top story. The incident happened at the intersection of routes 31 and 365. The bus went off the road and came to rest in a snowbank. State police tell us a second bus driver and a bus aide were on the bus and attempted to stop the bus and help the driver. They called 911 and did CPR until help arrived. The 49-year-old driver was pronounced dead at Oneida Health. No students were on the bus.
Time for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
So we saw some snow today. We get a break here this evening and into early tomorrow. And then we're tracking our next weather system. This is going to give us some freezing rain east of Utica. And because of that, we've made it an alert day. This begins Tuesday evening. Looks like the early part of the evening where temperatures will be right around freezing. That could create some slippery spots. Again, this is mainly east of Utica, and it could be quite slippery on untreated surfaces. Again, this does fall primarily as rain west of Utica for the southern valleys, but again, these pockets to the east could have some problems tomorrow evening. Snow is moving out. Warmer weather is moving in. It's still pretty cold out there now, though, 21 degrees. We're expecting to thaw. Temperatures look to climb above freezing for the rest of the week. In fact, we could be even into the 40s here by the end of the week. But again, we are tracking some freezing rain tomorrow evening, along with some rain. Looking ahead, I've got to look at the forecast coming out. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. A Utica man who tried...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We tracked widespread snow earlier today. That has come to an end, but it is still creating some slippery spots in its wake. The main roads are generally wet, but the side roads are not. Could be a little bit slippery in spots here heading into tonight. Temperatures will remain below freezing. It's a live look in downtown Utica. Again, the snow is lifting to the north. It is still snowing in the Adirondacks, but this is moving out. And we will get a chance to dry out heading into tonight and early tomorrow before the next weather system arrives. We picked up an inch of snow today, and that puts our season snowfall total for the city of Utica to 67.8 inches. We continue to run an exceptional departure from average, 31.4 inches above average to date. This is your typical amount of snow we would see by the middle of February in a normal year. But of course, this hasn't been anything but a normal winter. It's been much snowier compared to typical here for the Mohawk Valley. Reminder, you can always track the weather on the go. You can get the radar on the fingertips of your phone by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. We've had a very long stretch of this snow. In fact, we go back to the stats here. It has snowed 38 out of 40 days. Since we've been keeping track of this since Thanksgiving. It doesn't mean that it was measurable snow. Even just a few flurries would count. And again, we've been tracking this long stretch of weather here since Thanksgiving. It does look like we'll get a break in the snow this week, at least a few days, with temperatures climbing above freezing. Sunset times continue to change. Our earliest sunset of the year was 4:25 today. 440. You might have noticed it's a little bit brighter at the end of the day. We're going to see that process continue. In fact, we're 2.5 weeks away from the first 5 p.m. sunset. And after that, it continues to become more and more noticeable into the month of February and March. Skywatchers checking in. Clinton, 16 degrees. Barneveld, 18. Helen Cassville, 22. Donna Norway, 21. Jeff and Mohawk, 18. Warmer across the southern valleys, 28 in Skinny Vis. Today's weather system moving out. The next one moving in for late tomorrow. This one is likely to produce freezing rain east of Utica and the very beginning of this, which would be tomorrow evening. Rain for most of central New York with temperatures in the low 30s. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast. Snow continues to move to the east tonight. Cloudy skies. Temperatures will hold steady, if not rise overnight. We'll start out tomorrow morning with clouds. Temperatures will spend most of the time in the low 30s. Rain arrives tomorrow evening. It starts out as freezing rain east of Utica. Temperatures will be right around freezing. It's a cold rain tomorrow night. It does end as some snow showers here on Wednesday. Little accumulation is expected. Temperatures Wednesday in the low to mid 30s. Cloudy tonight, a low of 22. Tomorrow, looking at cloudy skies, rain and ice arriving late. Again, watch out east of Utica. Some freezing rain is in the cards. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Wednesday, rain and snow showers 37. We are above freezing for the majority of the week, at least during the day. Even at night, we'll be above freezing. We're into the low 40s on Friday and Saturday with rain. That should help clear off that very stubborn snow, the snow banks, even the ice that's still out there. That should really help.
All right, Bill, thank you.
Still to come on News Channel 2 at 6. The first
The news with Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to get to those stories in a moment. First, though, Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis tracking an alert day for tomorrow. And believe it or not, it's not because of snow.
Yeah, we're unfortunately talking about freezing rain tomorrow. It's not going to affect everyone, but it is going to affect areas east of Utica. And it's enough for us to put us in alert mode for that. It doesn't take much freezing rain to cause a problem. Even a small amount can make things very icy. I'm not expecting the ice to be as severe as what we saw that Sunday between Christmas and New Year's, where the Mohawk Valley had a significant amount. This is going to be enough to cause slippery spots, but I don't think it's going to accumulate to quite to that level. Either way, still problematic here for Tuesday. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Things look pretty quiet. We had snow today. We picked up an inch of accumulation, but since this afternoon, the snow has come to an end and it's generally cloudy. Temperatures are going to rise tonight. We're at 24 degrees. We actually should be warmer by tomorrow morning. We're tracking rain and ice tomorrow evening. A January thaw to follow. Temperatures will be above freezing for the most part the majority of the week, especially heading into the weekend. Cloudy skies tonight. Temperatures slowly rise. We'll be in the 20s. Again, tracking the potential for freezing rain tomorrow night. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New tonight, an Otsego County home was destroyed by fire.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. The roads are in better shape now than what we saw earlier today. We did get widespread snow in the late morning to early afternoon, and it was slippery, and there were some accidents. But looking ahead, we get a quiet night and a quiet start to the day tomorrow. Morning commute should be fine. Temperatures are slowly going to warm up, so we'll have a little bit of a break in the weather. Again, live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Things are looking quiet. Picked up an inch of snow today officially for the city of Utica. It puts our season total to 67.8 inches. Our departure is running over 30 inches above average. This is way, way above and beyond what we would consider a typical winter. It's been very snowy, very cold, and winter's off to a fast and furious start. In fact, during this stretch, we've only had 2 precipitation-free days since Thanksgiving. It's just been an incredible stretch. It doesn't mean that every day had a measurable snow, but some days just had just a trace. And again, it's just been very, very active here, especially the past week. We've had a decent amount of snow, and we've had very little sunshine to go along with that. It's been a cloudy, gloomy stretch of weather here. And it doesn't look like that element's going to change, although we will get a break from the snow. Reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Our next weather system approaches from the west. It's going to be a warm front. It's going to push in some warmer weather, but before that warm weather gets here, it starts out as some freezing rain, especially east of Utica down the Mohawk Valley Tuesday evening. There could be some icy spots in areas like Little Falls, St. Johnsville. Most of this falls as rain from areas Utica west and southward, as temperatures will be above freezing. Tonight, cloudy skies, temperatures slowly rise overnight. We'll start out tomorrow morning in the low 20s. Throughout the day tomorrow, it's cloudy. Some light rain breaks out in the afternoon, the late afternoon, and again, pockets of freezing rain are expected east of Utica with temperatures right around freezing. Rain elsewhere, and it's going to be a cold rain for most of Tuesday night. Even the areas that get freezing rain will see temperatures warm up. So by Wednesday morning, it's generally wet. We'll see some light snow showers Wednesday, and then the weather looks to remain dry, and it gets even milder here towards the end of the week. Cloudy tonight, low of 22. Tomorrow, dry start, cloudy. Rain and ice develop later in the day, high of 35. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Wednesday, rain, snow showers, 37. Thursday, 38. We're into the 40s Friday and Saturday with rain, and there will be a January thaw a little early this year. Some colder weather to follow early next week.
A lot early.
We're barely into January, and here we are, yeah.
Well, we could use it after all the snow we got. A little bit of thaw won't hurt.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Bill. Coming up next, Hamilton College.
News with Jason Palace.
Good evening. We'll get to those stories in a moment. First, though, Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis tracking an alert day for tomorrow, and believe it or not, it's not because of snow.
Yeah, we're tracking freezing rain, which could become very problematic tomorrow evening. We're thinking that this is going to be mainly east of Utica in the Mohawk Valley. So if you're going to be driving after 5 o'clock, just be aware that what's raining may be a little bit icy. And it may not just be rain, could be a little bit slippery. And again, that's all to do with warm air moving in aloft, cold air at the surface. That combination creates some ice. At this point, it doesn't look to be as severe as what we dealt with that Sunday between Christmas and New Year's, when we had that ice storm in parts of the area. I think we'll get some ice. I just don't think it'll be quite that heavy. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Again, things look quiet tonight after dealing with some snow earlier today. Temperatures have been slowly warming up. We're 24 degrees, which is the warmest part of the day so far, believe it or not. And temperatures are going to continue to warm up as this warmer air works its way in. So again, we slowly warm up tonight. We're tracking rain and some ice tomorrow evening. A January thaw to follow, an extended period of time where temperatures will be at or above freezing as we head into the end of the week. Cloudy tonight, temperatures will slowly rise through the 20s. Again, I'm timing out the freezing rain. I'll let you know how long it lasts coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New tonight. And
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look at downtown Utica. After getting some snow earlier today, the weather has quieted down and the roads are generally wet this evening. There's some snow on the side roads still, but this is going to improve heading into tonight and tomorrow. The weather looks dry. Snow is now well to the east. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We picked up an inch of accumulation today in the city of Utica. It puts our season total at 67.8 inches, 31 inches above average. That is an incredible run. We've had a very snowy December. And this long stretch of snow has been happening since Thanksgiving. Can you believe 38 out of 40 days had some sort of precipitation, mostly in the form of snow? It's been a long and very snowy stretch of weather, and it's also been very cloudy. We've been having excessive cloud cover in an already cloudy time of the year, and it looks like this is not going to change. The snow chances will diminish here over the next couple of days. A reminder, you can always get weather information on the go by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. As we look at the bigger picture, snow moving out, the next weather system moves in from the west. This is a small area of low pressure that's going to give us the chance for some freezing rain tomorrow evening. And I highlighted areas east of Utica. I think these are the spots that are most likely to see freezing rain tomorrow evening. It includes the Mohawk Valley, Little Falls, St. Johnsville, southern Herkimer County, Fulton, Montgomery County. As you get west, Rome, Camden, Norwich, even areas like Oneonta, I think it's just too warm. I think this falls predominantly as rain tomorrow evening. So a couple of problem spots, but not for all areas in central New York. Cloudy skies tonight, temperatures slowly rise. We'll start out tomorrow morning with plenty of cloud cover. Rain moves in later in the day, and again, this could start out as some freezing rain east of Utica. Even here, temperatures warm up tomorrow night, so by Wednesday morning, it's a rain-snow mix, and the roads will be generally clear, or at least generally wet, I should say. We do get some snow Wednesday, but I don't see much accumulation early from that. Temperatures will be in the low to mid-30s. Warmer weather to follow. Cloudy tonight, low of 22. Tomorrow, cloudy skies, rain and ice developing in the late afternoon or early evening, 35. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Wednesday, rain and snow early in the day, a high of 37. We're cloudy Thursday. We might see some sunshine late in the day. Temperatures warm into the 40s Friday and Saturday with widespread rain late Friday, early Saturday, followed by some cooler weather early next week.
I know a lot of folks up north got a ton of snow over the last couple of weeks, but folks around the Mohawk Valley, you could see a lot of that snow go away with that rain.
You know, this stretch of warm weather wouldn't be surprising to see at least some green grass spots by probably Sunday.
Sunday, all right. Keep an eye on that. Thanks, Bill. Coming up next.